What's up, coolers, and welcome back to Barca Dream Team. And today we're going to be discussing our thoughts on the two upcoming matches against Manchester United in the Europa League. We hope you'll subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're super excited about today's video, so let's get started. But first, before we can discuss lineups, let's take a look at the schedule for February. Now, Barca have got 7 fixtures in February after a successful start to the year. We remain unbeaten in 2023, picking up a massive 10 wins out of 10 games. We managed to get those big 3 points against Sevilla too, and an emphatic 3-0 victory. And I'm looking at that game against Villarreal next, and it will be very interesting to find out the lineup for that game. You know, do we rotate with one eye on that first leg against Man United, or do we go full throttle to secure 3 big points in the league? Well, I'd aim for a mixture of the two. If I was Xavi, I'd take Villarreal very seriously, so I'd start the usual players without a lot of rotation. And then, hopefully, when the game's beyond doubt, we can bring on the likes of Pablo Torre and Sergio Roberto just to get us over the line, and we can rest Pedri, Gavi and De Jong ahead of Man United. Now, that seems to be the most likely course of action, with a quick turnaround of just 4 days to recover from our match against the Yellow Submarine.
Manchester United will be looking to continue their streak of good form, with a very packed fixture list in February for them too. With 4 matches in the first fortnight of the month, it remains to be seen whether the Red Devils can build on the momentum they have, or if they will crumble under the pressure of so many matches. They've already beaten Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace, and they'll be playing Leeds United in their 3rd home match in a row this month. And it won't be long before they meet again, because Ten Hag's men will travel to Yorkshire after just 4 days of recovery. I can see some rotation in the pipeline, especially in that second Leeds game. That should give us some indication on who will start at the Camp Nou. Also, if things aren't going too well for United in the first leg against Barca, I can imagine Ten Hag weighing up the option to rest players in the second leg, which will take place just 3 days before the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle United.
So let's first discuss the lineup, starting with Manchester United. We know it will be David De Gea in goal. He's been absolutely solid this season. He has proved to be prone to mistakes, but I think the establishment of a more solid defence in front of him has given him a new level of confidence. He's been one of the most informed keepers in the Prem this season, and he's played a huge role in United's 8 clean sheets at the time of writing.
Right back could either be Diogo Dalot or Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and we've seen Ten Hag place a huge amount of trust in Dalot this season. But Wan-Bissaka has stepped in whilst the Portuguese right back has been injured. But to be honest, guys, whoever starts, they both seem to be the weakest link in United's defence. Remember, they're going to be coming up against the likes of Lewandowski, Ansu Fati and Balde, and I think whoever United field at right back will struggle to handle overloads on that right-hand side.
And speaking of overloads, let's talk about left back now, and it's going to be Luke Shaw. What a season he's having. We know what to expect from him. He'll be making runs up and down the pitch, carrying the ball into the final third, but also chipping in with his defensive duties. And in the heart of defence, I expect to see a centre-back partnership of Lisandro Martinez and Rafa Varane. Tyrell Malacia could be pushing for a starting place, but I think experience is an important factor when you're attempting to defend Barcelona. Harry Maguire's fallen out of favour in recent months, and Lindelof was transfer listed in January, so the defence kind of picks itself.
Just ahead of the back four will be a double pivot of Casemiro and Fred. Casemiro has really gone to another level since joining the Red Devils, and that red card he got against Crystal Palace means he'll definitely start in the Europa League. We know that Eriksen is injured. I don't think there's a real time frame on how long he'll be out for, but he won't be back ahead of this game.
The new loan signing Marcel Sabitzer from Bayern could be a good shout though. It really does depend on how he does in the 2 matches against Leeds, having only made a brief appearance in his debut against Crystal Palace.
Bruno Fernandes will sit just behind the striker in that creative number 10 role. He'll be flanked by Antony and an informed Marcus Rashford. And just on Rashford, he picked up another goal and an assist against Palace, and he's probably having the best season of his career. Leading the line will be Wout Weghorst or Anthony Martial. Weghorst does look to be the more likely player to start. It's important to say that he started the last 3 games with Martial's minutes being hampered by the arrival of the 6'5" tall Dutchman.
Now let's take a look at Barca, and I think we're really going to take the game to Manchester United. The implementation of the 4-2-2-2 formation has really benefited us, and it's put us on the front foot in the early stages of every game. So I'm really optimistic about a positive result against United, as long as we don't abandon this new system. We have to respect the fact that United is a top-class team, but we can't afford to be too cautious and field a back 3.
So, assuming we do stick with the 4-man midfield, we're definitely going to see Mark in goal. He's proven himself to be the best goalkeeper in world football, with an astonishing 15 clean sheets in 20 matches at the time of writing, conceding just 6 goals in La Liga. And part of that credit must go towards the watertight defence in front of Ter Stegen. Xavi's definitely found his preferred defence. Alejandro Balde has become a regular in the first team. He really does offer a lot going forward, and his close control is an underrated quality which allows him to beat the initial line of the pressure. I've been absolutely blown away by Andreas Christensen. He's become a typical Barcelona centre-back. He's good in the air, his reading of the game is excellent, and he's excellent on the ball too. Araujo will start at right centre-back and Koundé will play at right-back. Hopefully the Frenchman can put that horrible own goal behind him, because that's been the only error he's made in his Barca career so far. But I would also consider the possibility of Araujo at right-back to deal with Rashford. We've seen Xavi play him in a very similar role to stop the threat of Vini Jr. in El Clasico. And that defence should be able to frustrate Man United for a large portion of the game. I've got no doubt that Araujo will be able to lead this defence in this massive game. He really is a crucial part of the team, and he's a very vocal and passionate leader on the pitch.
The midfield 4 should have had De Jong and Busquets at the base of it, with Gavi and Pedri out wide. We've become used to seeing this system in recent games, and it really does get the best out of all 4 midfielders. However, Busquets did pick up a sprained ankle in the match against Sevilla at the weekend, and it looks like it's going to rule him out for the first leg against Manchester United. Now, Xavi substituted on Frank Kessié at the time, and he looked pretty solid. But this did mean that De Jong was playing in the Busquets role, being the deeper of the 2 holding midfielders. And with the 2 midfielders to help out in defence, Pedri and Gavi have the licence to roam into the attacking third and create goal-scoring opportunities.
And then in attack, Lewandowski is sure to feature. He'll be looking to get back on form after serving his suspension in La Liga. And now who will support him? Ousmane Dembele would be the obvious choice. He's been our creative outlet on that right-hand side, but a recent injury means he could miss both matches against the Red Devils. So in the absence of our French wide man, Rafinha looks set to start after a solid display against Betis. Dembele's injury is a big loss, but Rafinha will look at these big matches against United looking to prove a point to Xavi. After all, I think we haven't seen the best version of him in a Barcelona shirt yet. And I have to talk about that performance against Sevilla at the weekend. All eyes were on Rafinha with Dembele out on the sidelines. And I have to say, it took him a while, but he had an excellent end to the game, picking up 1 goal and 1 assist. Rafinha slowly but surely proving to regain his Leeds United form, and he's been the star of the show in recent games.
And when it comes to those injuries, Barca haven't been too lucky when you look at the timing of them. In a packed February and March period, we play Real Madrid 3 times and Manchester United twice in just 11 games. Sergio Busquets picked up that injury against Sevilla as we've discussed, and it's looking like he'll be out injured for between 2 to 3 weeks. That would mean he would miss the first and possibly both Manchester United games, and he will make his return against Almeria. For Dembele, the club don't want to cut any corners. After all, he's such an important player to us that we don't want to rush him back and cause another injury. So it's being reported that he'll miss 3 to 4 weeks of action, meaning he'll come back too late for the game against Almeria, and he'll return for the match against Real in the Copa del Rey. And let's just take a look at the tactics in play. I think it's clear that we're going to see a lot of overlapping and inverted runs from Luke Shaw. He's going to be an absolute nuisance. And with the unpredictability of Marcus Rashford, that really is the area we need to pay attention to. Now, whether that means that the midfielders support that right-hand side of the defence, or Rafinha drops back like we've seen him do many times before. Well, either way, we need to contain that threat.
But what that also means is that Rafinha and Gavi will have a lot of green grass to run into. With an exposed left-hand side, United could be left on the back foot and on the receiving end of a pacey counter-attack. Another thing to consider is long-range shots. We know that Ter Stegen's on top form, but a long-range shot with a lot of whip and pace is enough to beat any goalkeeper.
We all remember Hakan Çalhanoğlu's long-range effort in the Champions League and Fede Valverde's goal at the Bernabeu. And Antony's not one to shy away from pulling the trigger, sometimes taking a coat of paint off the woodwork. Having seen him play recently, one thing I realised was that he spends the game testing the goalkeeper. He knows exactly when the keeper's off balance and when to seize the opportunity to fire. With Antony, it just feels like he'll score sooner or later. I mean, he's done it before in a Man United shirt. And we can't underestimate the midfield players either. Casemiro recently wrapped his foot around the ball from long range, squeezing it into the far corner against Reading in the Cup.
And now to our prediction. I'm expecting a tight, end-to-end, fast-paced match with some flying tackles, one-on-ones and lots of skills on show. I can imagine Rashford being a real threat, but I have to say, I can't see us conceding more than one at home. We've seen Araujo keep Vinny Jr. completely quiet before, and I think he shouldn't have too much difficulty in dealing with Rashford either. And at the other end of the pitch, Robert Lewandowski is sure to shine on the European stage, and the midfield quartet of Pedri, Gavi, De Jong and Kessié is sure to give the Polish centre-forward a lot of service. I don't think the Man United defence will be able to deal with the unpredictability, the fluency, the creativity of Gavi and Pedri. I'm fully confident that they should be able to absolutely dismantle the back line, leaving De Gea completely exposed. I'm predicting a very respectable 3-1 victory with a 2-goal lead to defend at Old Trafford. So if you like this video, guys, and you want to stay up to date with Xavi's Barca Dream Team, make sure to hit that notification bell, subscribe to BDT, and we'll see you next time. Visca Barca!